Well, Chris Larson and Richard Grace, I mean, they're just like on top of it. They just boom.
Scott, do you hear that?
That's terrible. That's awful.
What happened?
I don't know.
I know
That's
I'm
pretty.
annoying.
I had that happened the other day
That's odd.
to me. Yeah. Mr. Feedback.
You're experiencing technical difficulties at this time.
Yeah.
It's odd. Annie got Aaron Thompson's stuff that he was asking about out the door. Jerry.
Yeah.
Yeah, just wanted you to know.
I was going to bring something up here. Where's it at? Can't find it. Oh, there it is.
Oh, mercy.
I had to put that up the other day.
Finally got my blasted C11 collimated. Oh, Lord.
Oh, did you?
Finally. I need to get the program that you recommended. You may have to send me that email on what it's called so I can do some star testing. Go from there.
You have to remind me because I can't remember what you're talking about.
I just wanted to do what you do, basically. You do a spectral analysis on stars.
Oh, yeah.
That stuff. You said I needed to get certain type of some program.
Yeah.
That'll help. I just can't remember. It's like a couple $100, I think. So I'm curious about Jerry's opinion on this cover up of UFOs.
That's going to be interesting to see what's actually going on. I still think it's just propaganda. They've decided to change it. The government's decided to change their direction 180 degrees. Instead of denying it, they're going to just say it's real and
yeah,
and get people convinced that it's not real. You got one side saying there's aliens here, and then you got the other side saying there's no way aliens could be here.
I don't know what you're talking about. There's aliens?
It's too damn far. Why would they come here? What's special about us?
Because we're
compared to other millions of. If there's millions of planets out there with millions of aliens, what's special about us compared to anybody else?
We're Barney Fifes.
That's right. Yeah. I don't know what Scott's doing.
Do you hear me all right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So this is on Newsweek, okay? It says next month, a report ordered by the U.S. Senate Intelligence Committee detailing information on unidentified aerial phenomena is due to be published by a government task force. Interest in the mysterious sightings of what are popularly known as unidentified flying objects or UFOs
cut out.
Well, hello, everybody.
That's some
I love
interesting
this job.
pre-show audio.
Scott Roberts, your UAP advisor here.
UAP ambassador.
Yeah, UAP ambassador. Yeah. Reading from Newsweek that there's been 5 past UFO sightings. I mean, this is actually on the Newsweek website. So, apparently
Now we
we're
know
going-
they're real. Now we know for sure that they're really fake news.
Oh yeah, because it's on Newsweek. I happen to think Newsweek is a fairly legit news source, so
Relatively speaking, I would.
yeah, I
probably
mean they're
say
just
okay.
stating the
Just-
facts, I guess,
well,
right?
Just the facts, right?
Just the facts.
Just the facts, ma'am. Just
Right.
the facts.
Yeah. It says interest in mysterious sightings, or what are popularly known as unidentified flying objects, have surged in the past few years, like the past few decades, particularly after the DoD officially released 3 unclassified videos showing UAPs in 2020. Videos were published to the STARS Academy of Arts and Sciences, an organization set up by former Blink-182 frontman Tom DeLonge to investigate UFO sightings.
I got a theory about that.
There's I guess
You
there's
mentioned-
more sightings going
Yeah, you
on.
mentioned 2020. The aliens have shifted into phase 2 of their invasion. They released COVID and then they started showing up more.
Is that what it is?
I can't with you crazy people.
That's as good a conspiracy theory as any, right?
That's like saying there's GPS.
We got to
trackers in
combine all the
vaccine.
different conspiracy theories into one mega theory.
So, okay. So, okay, let's just say that they're out there, all right? And there's nothing we can do about it, right? So then what do? Nothing. We just continue living like we live, right?
I guess,
Normally.
unless you're
that it?
paranoid, and you think they might be a threat of some kind.
And then what are you going to do?
That's
The
what the
problem
government
is,
is, right? The
Jerry,
government's
you
paranoid.
only-
So
The reason
So
why they
let's
would
say,
be a
let's say
threat.
the government goes full on and we unleash our nuclear arsenal at them, but then nothing happens. They just bounce off, like so many mosquitoes against the windshield.
yeah, then we're screwed.
If you treat them as a threat, they're
Then
going to
we've
become
made
a
them
threat.
mad. We made them angry.
Just don't
That's
treat them
right.
as a threat. That's
Yeah,
the
if you
issue.
start shooting, they may decide to do the same.
Just don't treat them as one.
Oh yeah, right.
I mean, everybody's seen Mars Attacks. That's what happens.
That's right.
Oh, what the Death
That's right.
Star can do, right? Right. That's right.
That's a great movie.
So, I'm
It
not
could be a
saying they're
documentary.
out there. Maybe they are, but what are you going to do about it? So
You're gonna enjoy it. You just like anything else
yeah,
in
you
life.
got to enjoy it. You got to get the
just
right
enjoy it.
eyepiece so you can see them in.
That's
in
right.
great
And take
detail,
pictures.
right?
Take pictures. Do this. So we got an
Because they
astrophotography
move so
contest.
darn fast, I think that you need a super wide field eyepiece.
That's
So,
the next astrophotography contest.
know
Is
a
to
company that sells those
take a
things.
picture of a UFO as the next
Yeah.
contest.
I like
Yeah.
it. I like it. I see where Jerry's
Anyways.
going. See where Jerry's going.
So, okay. So let's say they come down and in our audience, how many people there want to become friends, will become friends with them? I say hug an alien as well.
Yeah, they're just here to serve us.
Just like we are them.
You're here to serve man. That's
right.
that was the cookbook, right? That was in the Outer Limits or
Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone, something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
yeah.
to serve man. I don't know. I don't think they like the taste of human beings, anyways.
How do
Right?
you know?
How would they? Yeah.
How would you know? Are you assuming?
Because
Are
they're
you one
so
of them?
advanced, they're going to be
Are you
eating
one of
like
them?
all these superfoods or something, or synthesizing starlight into.
Yeah, they'll be able to
Biosynthetic.
replicate. They'll have replicators. They can build
Yeah,
their
they
own
don't need
food
that.
out
Yeah.
of atoms.
Scott's one of them.
But we do have 50-year-old McAllen.
Scott does have
Good
stories where he's
scotch.
associated with.
So,
Yeah, that's right.
you want to go to Earth for a good scotch. That's what it is.
Well, yeah, that's yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if you can, you have the bucks to fly around all over the universe like that, you probably can afford a 50-year bottle.
Well, it's just like when you live in a famous town and you never visit any of the sites. The locals never visit the local good sites. You have to have aliens come in to visit the local sites.
They want to see the
Travel.
Grand Canyon.
Yeah,
That's right.
like our
They
ancestors.
want to go to
to
Disneyland.
visit.
They want to go. Yep, exactly.
It's open again, so
That's good.
Yeah.
All right. Topic at hand. Jerry
Earl
mentioned
Locke- Earl
astrophotography
Locke says our
contest.
cultures have preferred humans in the past.
Oh boy. Jerry, it's funny that you mentioned astrophotography contest because we're getting pretty close to.
Ollie says he's going to have a cup of tea and a scone with them. Live
Scone.
long and drink tea. That's right, dude.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh boy.
Oh, Scott's got an interruption. The astrophotography contest. What are you going to say about it, Tyler?
You're dialing me with.
Was it me?
It was you.
No, it wasn't. My phone's right here. It's no. You called me,
Hello.
not me.
Who else was calling? I don't know.
He's losing it, Jerry.
Maybe
He's
somebody's
finally
listening.
lost
in.
it.
Maybe he's intercepting our broadcast, and one of the aliens is want to call into our show.
Bouncing back in.
He's joined the chat group. Say,
Big buck beat.
yeah. No, at.
Jeez. Oh Lord. These
We've
shows.
really changed a lot over the last hour.
Okay. Actually, we're coming here to do a show. This is the Open Go-To community, right? You have Tyler, you've got a astrophotography contest going on.
Of course.
Jerry's got commentary about the Open Go-To community. Myself, I'm still reeling from doing two very close back-to-back global star parties.
Right.
And I'm already planning the next one. I talked a little bit about it, where we will have a regular global star party on Tuesday night, which is the 25th, and then the morning of the 26th, we're going to be ready. If I can get someplace with clear skies. Okay, we are going to try to live broadcast the total lunar eclipse. It'll be the only one of this year, and it's a super moon, so it's going to be pretty cool.
I was going to say, if you said if you could find a place, I was going to say if you can get your butt out of bed.
Shots fired, folks. Shots fired.
So, yeah,
it'd be nice if we actually had clear skies this week. To be honest,
it would be nice. It would be nice. Yeah.
Maybe if I'd stop buying gear.
People are going to get some amazing shots of this. So we would like to share it with the broader audience out there if we can. And so we're gonna take a stab at it. So it should be fun. Ollie says, my school has some astronomy equipment. The astronomy club hasn't been on for over 3 years. So I asked the teacher what was happening with it, and he said he didn't have time. So recently past and I think you got cut off by YouTube there, Ollie. He recently passed the club on. I'm planning to ask the new teacher about it and try to borrow it from the summer.
Good idea, Ollie.
Yeah. And Ollie got his first clear night in weeks, so that's great. He was imaging the Trifid all night long. And
Trifid's beautiful. I like the Trifid.
Yeah.
I remember, Scott, he's the gentleman, if it's Ollie Crabtree, he's the gentleman that asked about the scope that I bought for him.
Oh, great.
He's that gentleman.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in the audience a lot. So it's cool.
He has.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So let's get on with the show. Stop talking about UFOs.
Let's do that. Let's stop talking about UFOs and flying.
I mean, Jerry will go all day long about aliens.
That's right. Okay.
Hocus pocus
Right.
stuff.
I thought that was
That's a childhood
He's living his
vocation.
dream,
like mind
folks. He's
control
living
from
his
you.
dream.
Like when I was 12 years old, I was
More
fascinated.
about it. So that's
That's right.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. All right. Well,
Astrophotography contest. So we do have one going on. Again, if no one's aware, It's 2 months long. We're getting pretty close to the end of the deadline. I think we have half a month left on the 2 month. I'd have to double check it and look.
That's a 2-month period.
It's a 2 month period on this
How
one.
many images do we get?
So far,
now?
we have a total of 47.
Oh, that's good.
47 responses or people sending in images.
And we're just gonna select best of show 1, 2, and 3.
just 3. No
Just-
best
no
in show.
Oh, okay.
No best in show. There are I'm going to look at them. No one's going to look at them until we decide to vote. There's a lot of good images so far, just from a cell phone.
I know.
So what are the? So let's ask this: what's the criteria that we judge these images on?
As far, well, Jerry, that's a good question. Because it's usually either me or Kent if you're busy, or I'd involve you. And
It's almost like our own personal opinion, right?
it kind of is, but I mean, you're an astrophotographer. I'm an astrophotographer. Scott claims to be an astrophotographer, but he doesn't take any images.
I was doing astrophotography when you were still in diapers.
Diapers.
Okay?
That's right. When your grandpa was in diapers.
So
When dirt was still in diapers. Yeah.
That's right.
I mean, we both take all our knowledge. I mean, there's at least between you two over 30 years experience between you two.
Mhm.
I just a couple years, so mine's fit and fiddle. But we make sure that the details there, if the calibrations are calibrated correctly, if we put any in there, and just
So this, yeah,
just overall
technical,
amazement,
technical and quality.
Yeah.
Quality image. That's really what wow people basically.
Mhm.
I mean, Jerry, you mainly look at the planets because that's what, or the lunar because that's what you do.
Yeah.
And then I set
In
those
terms
aside
of pretty
for you.
picture. Yeah. In terms
So
of
what's
You're
that-
very
what's that-
picky.
What's that pretty picture behind you there, Tyler?
That's just Orion's Nebula, the whole constellation. What you're able to get with a DSLR.
oh, that's nice.
Did you
Yeah.
do that shot?
Oh gosh, no, Google did.
Google did that shot. Google the astrophotographer.
Well, the Google
Yes, it's a
AI.
good one.
You don't know the Google AI may use a virtual astro camera system to take
Yeah.
virtual pictures of the universe for us.
I'm going to try to get, I mean, I can't do Orion, but I'd like to do Triffidan Lagoon in about a 5-panel mosaic with a
Uh-huh.
DSLR and just see what I can get. I'm going to try. So with all the testing that I do, everybody complains like, you don't even image. No, I test. You're right. I don't. I test everybody else's stuff. I have to make sure my customers are taken care of before I can do what I need to do.
That's always true.
That's kind of the kind of imaging I do is a lot of testing.
Yeah. So, but
All right.
47 response or entries, which is a great. I'll get
Oh, that's
with.
good.
I'll get and kind of solidify the end date. I know we said 2 months, but I definitely want to solidify it. I think, yeah, June 15th. So yeah, we got. Technically, we were over that, but we'll go a little bit farther. Why not? We'll go a little farther because it started on June 15th.
And
No,
when
we're
does
not
it
over.
end?
Today's the 20th.
No, when does it end?
Entries are being accepted through. Oh, so June 15th is the end date.
Okay.
June 15th,
Okay. All right.
11:59 p.m. Central or CDT.
And we still got on almost another month.
So
still.
Almost another month. It
Ollie
just
wants to know, can anyone enter the competition? I'm in Australia, or is it US only? It's worldwide. We don't
worldwide,
care.
man.
Yeah.
We're not going to judge where you are,
We're one big family.
We're not
That's
gonna
right.
judge that. Yeah.
but it would behoove you to become an Explorer Alliance member. It would definitely behoove you, just in case you want to get entries to prizes, or if you want to be part of a tighter knit family
That's
and
right.
get.
Yeah, and you
uh,
can join for free. So
You can join for free. You get special deals no one else can ever give you, but Explorer Alliance members.
that's true.
So
Yeah. So I'm gonna give you like a little link here. You guys can go.
Oh, I had a question. We
Sure.
talked about earlier. How did the tent sales go with the first batch? I think aren't we out of them? Aren't we waiting?
Sold out.
we were out within the
Yeah,
first
so
week.
that's a very
We're all
popular.
They are all gone.
And we gave the Alliance members a first crack at them, right?
Correct.
We did? Yeah, and they
We
got
did.
a great deal. So
Great deal.
mhm.
So it would behoove
Oh,
all
and
of you.
the newest deal, you've got the Bino viewers in front of you, right, Tyler?
Oh, actually, I do. Actually, I do. Because
Yeah,
I get to take them home and try and mess with them. But they come in a nice No, it's going to block it out with a nice Pelican case.
Nice black,
Nice blacked out Pelican case. I'm going to
black
turn off my background.
disappearing case.
I'm going to turn it off. Give me a second. Don't mind my
There
background.
we
It's
go.
hideous.
What's
It's
that in the
hideous.
background? Okay.
It's my metal detector for when I need it.
That's
All right.
stand-
So you get a nice hard case that comes
Right.
with it. Open her up here. And I'll make sure I don't lose
Don't
anything.
dump it
Cameron
out. Yeah,
says
don't
nice
dump it.
UFO case. Yeah.
Don't mind the nasty finger. Pluck
Yeah.
foam casing.
Yeah. Nice.
And the piece de la resistance is these beautiful things.
The piece
Oh, nice.
stones.
I mean, it's literally my hands.
Yeah.
How small they are.
Yeah. Show how they separate out.
What's the asking price for those?
That's Scott's going to know that better than I will.
Yeah, the price on it, they're like, they come with two 25 millimeter waterproof eyepieces.
Mhm.
I think that the price on it is like, the value of it's like $650 with the eyepieces, and regular retail with that package is going to be $599. And then if you are an Explorer Alliance member,
Here's
you
the
get it
deal,
for
folks.
$499.
There's the deal.
That's with the paid membership. So what you do is you pay the $100 membership. We give you an instant $100 off on the Bino viewers. So you can buy them, once you've paid your Explorer Alliance membership fee, which covers, by the way, you get Explore Care on all your products, which is a very cool feature. Protects your equipment, any equipment you've bought from Explore Scientific, including things like action cams, or, we have metal detectors, we have everything.
You got everything you can think of.
If you buy any of that stuff, your astronomy tent, everything is now covered on basically a no fault warranty. So, right. So why wouldn't people be part of that?
Makes sense to me. I do it.
Yeah, exactly. So you can join for Explorer Alliance for free if you want in on these special benefits, these kind of beyond benefits. You're going to want to be a paid member, but
And
you
you
get
get
all your money back towards
You get a gift certificate for your purchase.
Exactly. So if you're buying an eyepiece that costs $119, you get $100 off on that eyepiece, so it's basically a pass through at that point. So
It is.
yeah.
And it's a great deal. You can't beat it. You really
Cannot
can't.
beat it. That's right.
You're
That's
protecting your investment. Is what
That's
you're doing.
right. And being part of the Explorer Alliance family, which is really important.
Very important.
That's right.
But I will remind everyone that the Explorer Alliance is a Night Sky Network organization. I am a NASA Solar System Ambassador. And so some of our programming that we do in outreach are NASA Solar System Ambassador events, like the Global Star Party is. And we're involved in a lot of outreach. We kind of see on the gear side of it from Explore Scientific, we see ourselves as outfitters, and people like Tyler and Jerry are guides to help you, in your journey to understanding the universe, your personal exploration of the universe. So that's what it's all about.
We're making your equipment work.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Pekka is talking about, he says, Sweden has this 25% tax on everything. That is a drag. Pekka, I'm sure there's good parts about being in Sweden though. So, maybe you guys have awesome medical or something. I'm sure you do. So, Book Davies. Well, I'm of course Scott's hug aliens. That's right. Solar System ambassadors will be the first to hug aliens if they show up.
So y'all have at it.
That's
We'll
right.
stand back.
That's
And
right.
wait.
There's no
That's right.
observing reporting guide, and there's no app yet on how to identify an alien. So I think that somebody needs to make that app and have it on the Apple Store. There might be one. I haven't looked actually, honestly. So, but. Well, anyhow, so Jerry, what's happening in the Open Go To community?
Well, I've been struggling. With
Jerry?
trying to figure out what to talk about, but there's always something good on the forum to talk about. So let me bring it up here and see.
You said something about Nina.
Ooh, Nina.
Oh, actually, it was about the Indy driver.
Indy.
So the Indy driver, which is the ASI Air uses,
Which I've seen a lot of people on the groups IO talking about. Sometimes that their Nina will just crash randomly.
oh, so that was another issue that Wes and I fixed recently.
Mhm.
I can talk about that. I thought I mentioned it before, but basically what the problem was that we had in the driver, we had this timing loop, right? We have to keep really close track of the timing to get the precision calculations for the motion of the mount. And when in Nino, if you were going to manual mode and you hit the east-west button, east-west, east-west, there was an intermittent problem. Was a pain to find. There was an intermittent problem where every once in a while, the calculation for the duration would be too long, and the way the size of the counter, the storage area in the counter for that overflowed basically and wrapped around. Okay. So when it wrapped around, that means the duration went very long. It extended the time out to 50 seconds or so, about 50 seconds, which means it would stop the driver, stop the mount. It would stop tracking for 50 seconds and then it would continue. And you could push the button again and it would move. So that was the issue that was discovered using Nina push buttons. I think that's what Tyler was talking about. So we discovered that and we figured it out, and Wes and I fixed it. And that was the recent firmware update that was posted on the forum. The version number is 20A01.02. And I can show where that's located at in the forum for anybody that's interested in downloading that and installing that latest version of the firmware. So let me see here. Let me go to the page first. I'm gonna not share it yet. I gotta set my screen up first. And now I can share that. You see the forum page?
Yep.
I'm gonna zoom up on it so it's easier to look at. All right. So if you're looking for this updated firmware, there's two ways to get it. One is to use the configuration manager and download it and install it directly off of our website. The other way is to go to the files section, and here it is right here. PMC820A01 firmware installation kit, and it's dated May 16th, right there. So that's a zip file, and it's got all the files related to the installation of the new drive. It's got the new driver, it's got the new firmware, or the latest firmware. It's got the configuration manager install, also the configuration tool install, the universal firmware configuration tool program, and it's got this document that I also have a separate link to right here. This is a document that explains the update. So you might want to just get this first, read about it, and then download it here, because this will tell you all about it, all about the files that are in that update installation kit. So that's where you get it.
Very cool.
And the version of the system that's in this kit is the latest and greatest stuff with all the fixes. And that's what this is talking about. It's RA motor stop on manual move fix.
Excellent. I have a question, Jerry. I mean, what is how do you and Wes, you know,
Collaborate.
when you, yeah, how do you collaborate? What's that process like?
Well,
Is
it's kind of interesting because
it very informal? I mean, you're like, okay, we've got this problem. Hey,
it's,
Wes, how's it
yeah, we have a
going?
discussion typically, and we've worked together quite a long time already.
Yeah.
So we're on the same level in terms of the discussion. He'll mention something and I'll know exactly what he's talking about. In the firm, even
Mhm.
we've gone through the firmware enough to not memorize the firmware, but we know what's going on and can talk about it without having to look at it all the time.
Yeah.
So we've got a general idea on how all the firmware works and what sections do what and all that. And sometimes we typically don't Zoom. We'll be on the phone and we'll both be looking at the same code in our respective program in the IDE locally.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll just refer to the line numbers in the code. So when we look at the code, there's line numbers for all the code, and we can just refer to that. So if we want to say, okay, I want to talk about this section, go to line number 3250 or whatever, and that's how we discuss it. And then we'll basically what we do when we go back and forth to figure out the problem is first we'll state our understanding to each other how the thing should work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the way we think it works based on our knowledge of working with it and designing it, and what we think should happen in this case. So we discuss the use case, what they go through, you know, the steps they went through to do the problem, and then we compare that to, okay, how is it supposed to work? All right, and we'll step through that. Okay, this is what it should be doing when you're doing
Okay.
this. And
Okay.
then we'll decide, okay, this is what we agreed to. And then we'll go back and look at the code and see if it actually does that. And we'll see where it diverts from that, maybe, or maybe not. If it looks, we go through the code, say, yeah, it's doing that, it's doing that. It looks like it's right. It's just like we thought. So why is it doing that? So then we have to go to the next level of figuring out, okay, what is going on now? It's not
Okay.
not a design problem per se in terms of the way it works. It's a bug in the program where it's got a variable that's different than what we expect. It's a timing issue. For this last one, we discovered it was a timing issue between when it got a certain piece of data and when it expected it to be there. Okay.
And how did you make that discovery?
Just like I said, just discussions. And it's kind
Okay.
of interesting the way we come up with the answers. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I want to say we're really good at it, but we know it enough to know, all right, so this has got to be what's happening.
Well,
It's
you're
almost like,
better at it than anybody else is.
well, yeah, of course, we know more about it than anybody in the
Right.
world, but
Right.
it's like a Sherlock Holmes thing, you know. If you eliminate everything, no matter what's improbable, that's what the problem is, you know, what the most improbable thing is, and you
Okay.
hit on that. So you kind of figure out, okay, it's not this, it's not that. We know that's correct. What could it be? And then we kind of brainstorm a little bit and figure, okay, what else could be causing this? What we have to
Okay.
think outside the box a little bit
Right.
to grasp the issue and what could be causing the problem. You really have to be open to weird ideas on, and I've been
That's
able to overcome
that's
that,
an
you know.
interesting point in itself. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I've worked with designers and manufacturers and engineers for a while in our industry. And there's there is a position that people get locked into where they just go, well, it's impossible. It couldn't be that
Yeah,
way.
right.
I designed it myself. I tested it myself. I know,
And this is what it's
and
doing. I know
I've
this is what it's
also
doing.
been guilty of this
Oh
myself
yeah.
as well. You're just like,
Everybody does it.
this problem can't happen. It's got to be something else
Yeah,
that's
and I start down that
going
path.
on.
Right, I start down that path, and I recognize that I'm starting to get that mindset, and I got to back away. I got to say, oh, I
Got
got
to
to
back
listen to the
away.
customer. I got to
Yeah,
listen to what the customer's saying. I got to listen to what Wes is saying.
exactly.
You know, and you back off, and you say, okay, I'm open to this now. I've got my head straight, so let's talk the possibilities. Let's just start throwing things out and seeing if that makes sense.
So what has been your, I don't know if you can remember any particular instance, but has there been a situation where you were just so
Locked in.
locked in and surprised that,
Yeah,
oh,
dug in. Yeah. Well, some of the recent problems have been surprising. Um,
Well,
So
the program now is your firmware is becoming mature.
yeah, it's
Okay,
very, yeah, it's
so,
pretty
right?
mature. Right,
It's
exactly. So
mature.
we're just getting these little subtle, little weird, intermittent problems now that show up by good luck, by fortune, right? So these
Like an
things,
anomaly. Yeah.
right. So one of the things that recently happened was uh, a customer posted a video and he was having where he'd moved, and it was this problem, and it manifested itself really
This
weird. So
push button problem
he
where,
pushed the button. Well, he slewed. Well, this was another aspect of it. He slewed to an object,
okay,
and it would start slewing, and then it would start ratcheting, making a noise, and then it would finish and ramp down. And so that's typically 99% of the time that's either a voltage problem. You have low voltage on the PMC8, and sometimes it doesn't provide enough power for the motors, and it starts skipping steps, or
okay.
the mesh is tight, and it starts to ratchet like that. It made a very similar sound to that, to a mesh problem or to a binding problem where the motor wouldn't drive it. It would start just skipping and making that ratchet noise. So I jumped to that conclusion. And
Mm-hmm.
Wes was a little skeptical, although, typically if the problem we had didn't exist, that's basically what it would be. But it turned out to be this problem that it caused that behavior in his mount. And it was a weird thing because it was different than other mounts. I never saw that behavior in our mounts.
I see.
At all. And Wes didn't see that kind of behavior, but he had that behavior. So that pointed out to me a very important thing to think about. Everybody's PMC8 system is slightly different in their components. Some components could be out of tolerance in some respects,
Mm-hmm.
causing weird issues with their particular box that we don't have anywhere else. And that's kind of what I decided on this particular case, was that his box was different than other ones that we tested.
I see.
And but it was corrected with this issue, with this fix, I should say.
This new firmware.
This new firmware fixed it, which really floored me. So that was a surprising thing to me, that it actually fixed that problem. So that's something you have to be open to also, is that customers may have a one-off problem that's only with their box, and it's not necessarily a failure with their box. It's just a difference with their box or their electronics for some reason. For some weird reason, their box is a little bit different and it has this problem.
Right.
And I don't know if we see that very often. We don't actually see very many failures in these boxes.
No.
At all. I mean, very few.
No,
I mean,
I'm
much
glad,
less than 1%, probably about less than 1/4%.
right. I would say less than a quarter. I mean,
Yeah.
we have now shipped these things all over the world, and
Yeah, right. And
uh,
well over 1,000.
way over 1,000.
Yeah.
So it's it is definitely a blessing to me that we were able to accomplish the goal of not having a bunch of electronic failures.
Yes.
So
Right. That
you
was your primary goal, I think.
it was because the company I used to work for, that was their number one problem.
Yeah.
They made great optics. They had good software, but the electronics would fail routinely, and that was very painful, So that's why
We have had some manufacturing
get you
defects.
involved, because I knew that if you could build electronics that for a nuclear power plant, electronics that can't fail.
Can't fail, right?
Can't
Exactly.
fail, no matter what. Can't fail. Okay.
Right. And when you talk about a $1 million test
Yeah.
and building the test equipment for that $1 million test, it's got to get done in 8 hours, or your critical path,
Right.
$1 million a day if you delay the startup.
Yeah. So I think that it gives me, and I think it gives the owners peace of mind that they got something that's so reliable. Well, that doesn't mean things can't happen.
Right.
Things
That
could
doesn't.
happen.
Right. So what I like to design for is soft failures, not complete dead type stuff, or really bad breakage, in terms
Yeah.
of failure modes. The failure modes are subtle. They should be easy to isolate, which they are in the code because of the architecture of the processor and things that we do in the code to be able to quickly understand the portion of the code that's messing up, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So we can get that. So in our collaboration process, we nail that down first. What area of the code is really causing the issue? And we can do that fairly quickly. And then we start getting into the subtle part of it where we have to say, okay, and the last few problems have been really timing issues. It's very interesting. We're learning more and more about how this processor works in terms of all the stuff that's going on, the
Yeah.
communication that goes on, sharing of information across the processors, all that kind of stuff. And that's what the last couple of issues have involved, is that kind of interprocessor communications where we setting a value and then we pick it up on another processor to act on it, right? So it's very quick
Mm-hmm.
communications, right? It's global memory space where we share this data. So when one processor sets a value, the other processors have immediate access to it. But it depends on in their repeat loop where they're at and where they need that data. So there's a little bit of asynchronous communications going on there where they may be in a portion of the loop where they needed the new value, but they still have the old value, and it causes a little bit of a glitch, that type of thing. But it's intermittent. So that's kind of the things we have to think about.
I see. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have, we are still deep in development of new stuff that would be PMC8 related. It's, we're not ready to talk about those things at this point, but, you guys watching these shows will be among the very first to know. Before it's out there. And so, stay tuned. I think that we may even have some stuff by this summer. So that's going to be very cool.
Yeah.
And
some exciting things,
yep,
things that people have been asking for a long time, probably.
for a long time. That's right. So, and until that time, if you guys see any, going back to the first part of our program, any UAPs out there, we'd like for you to report in.
Yeah, if you can take a picture of them, that'd be great. Take a picture.
That's right. And maybe somebody will figure out how to scan the skies for UAPs as they fly by with our PMC8 system. I think that might be a bit of a trick because we can't get the coordinates or the tracking information for it. So, right. Anyhow, just joking.
Are there any questions out there? We with our audience?
Martin Eastburn says testing needs to be unit level testing. Every possibility covered. Letters when number is expected. If then else, covering all possible and improbable cases.
Yeah, we do. The APIs that we use are very well tested. The firmware modules. We do some validation testing, but again, we only got limited space, so we can't do a lot of that. We have to make sure the code is correct in terms of that, in terms of the data that is shared. And typically at the firmware level, they're just integers. We're doing all integer math. But they have to be in the correct range and the expected values, of course. I think is what he's talking about. But at the in the ASCOM driver level, we do some validation on ranges and things. And we do have a conformance test suite that we run on the ASCOM driver that tests every function and feature. It's a very well designed system on the platform for developers. And so every driver update, I run the conformance test and it passes it with flying colors all the time. I always do that before I release anything to make sure that all the functions and features are still working correctly. Regression testing is very important, where you go back. If you make a change someplace, you just want to make sure you didn't break something elsewhere.
Right.
Again, the way the firmware works, it's isolated. We have isolated modules that run on different processors, so we don't have to worry about it. The only regression test we have to worry about is if we've in the shared memory, global memory locations, that we get the correct
Mm-hmm.
location updated when we need it, because that can affect all the different processors that use that value.
I see. Huh. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I think that's our show for today. Don't have any other questions at this point, but we will see you tomorrow. And until that time, keep looking up. I am still, and I got to figure this part out, but I'm still having some video replay problems on my audio system. So I didn't play. I had a nice NASA video to show you, but couldn't show it because it just was really annoying. So
Yeah, that's right.
anyways, I'll get it figured out. Until that time, you guys take care and keep looking up.